Now, following Bernie Sanders' popular vote win in Iowa, where he had about 6,000 more votes than his rival Pete Buttigieg, more Democrats say that they are likely to vote for Bernie Sanders in the primary. So now, this is a new poll here from Morning Consult, and they found that a full 52% of respondents said that they were leaning more towards backing Bernie Sanders for the Democratic nomination following the Monday's Iowa caucuses. So now, with this whole Iowa caucus blow up in the Shady app, and then people, the company behind it being staffed with, Hillary Clinton staffers, Obama staffers, having links to big billionaire donors, etc. That app failing, and the phone lines failing, and then the vote being delayed for several days. And still, at the end of all of this, you have more people that are in favor of voting for Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wins on this, uh, even after all of that. That is amazing. That's amazing. So now, of those, to gauge enthusiasm, right? 29% said that they were much more likely to vote for Senator Bernie Sanders, while only 23% said that they were somewhat more likely. So, still more likely 52%. Now, compare that to the other numbers. Now, surprisingly, Joe Biden didn't do too badly in this, right? So, no, Joe Biden got crushed. He got fourth place in Iowa. He did not do very well. It might have been him telling everybody to go and vote for somebody else, which then they did. So now, even so, in this poll, about 48% of respondents said that they were more likely to vote for him. Now, I think that could be explained by a lot of people that supported other candidates going to Joe Biden and saying, okay, well, look, some of our candidates, Amy Klobuchar, did not do very well. Elizabeth Warren did not do very well. She was in fifth. And so, no, she was, I believe she was fifth. They decided, okay, we're going to go with Joe Biden. Okay. So now there's that. Now, what about Pete Buttigieg? Pete Buttigieg. Well, did he get a good bump from this? Well, in New Hampshire, he did get a bump. And so we'll be completely fair about that. We're interested in facts here. But as far as this poll goes, only about 38% of respondents said that they were more likely to back Buttigieg. Of those respondents, only 14% of such said that they were much more likely to vote for him. That kind of shows me that there is not a lot of enthusiasm among Mayor Pete voters. Okay. Now, establishment media, however, they have a lot of enthusiasm for Pete Buttigieg. They are falling all over themselves to boost him. And so I don't understand. He doesn't have a viable path to the nomination. He's going to get completely wrecked in South Carolina, as well as the rest of the southern states. But okay, well, go ahead. It's because African Americans generally do not like Mayor Pete. So it's disastrous, right? He's not going to be able to pull together the Obama coalition, which was one of the same problems that Hillary Clinton had in 2016. She was not able to pull this coalition, that, for example, in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, to pull working class African American voters and people of color to her side. And so that's a big problem for Mayor Pete. And it's even worse because given his terrible past with African Americans. All right, so now head-to-head matchups between Pete and Donald Trump. Now, I know you could say, well, it doesn't really matter. It's still too early to do general election matchups between Trump and Pete. I get it, right? But I'm sort of using this as a bit of a metric to show some patterns here. And Mayor Pete's patterns against Donald Trump, not good. When you do head-to-head, either Pete barely wins within a percentage point, and you have other polls that show Donald Trump winning by 2 to 3 percentage points. Disastrous. Now, here we have a comparison again between Buttigieg and Sanders. 26% of respondents said that they were somewhat or much less likely to vote for Sanders. This is the negatives now. while 29% said the same of Biden and 28% saying the same for Buttigieg. So the Biden numbers, of course, they're disastrous. 29% are less likely to vote for Biden, 28% for Buttigieg, but you have Bernie Sanders that comes out looking pretty good. Now, the overall, the Morning Consult poll also showed the overall support for Sanders and Buttigieg both had increased 3% and 5% respectively. Sanders came in first as the top choice of 25% of Democratic voters nationwide. Biden was close at 24% and a drop of 5% before Iowa. So again, reflecting his really, really poor showing in Iowa. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg came in third with 15%, a decrease of 1%, and Buttigieg fourth at 12%. So Elizabeth Warren, of course, has 11%, and she has been losing voters as well. So, look, from what we can see, Bernie Sanders is the front runner. You can't really argue that anymore or argue against that anymore, okay? He is a front runner, and he has the best chance at winning the Democratic nomination, as well as the best chance of defeating Donald Trump. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.